Hi guys, it's a girl lilymutamztv, also known as Z, girl from Zambia. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you will be notified that Z has posted a video. Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda was born on the 28th of April 1924. He is popularly known as KK and served as the first president of Zambia from 1964 to 1991. Kaunda is the youngest of 8 children, born to an ordained Church of Scotland missionary and teacher. He followed his father's steps in becoming a teacher as well. He was born at Lubwa Mission in Chinsali, which is where his father had moved to from Malawi, which was then called Nyasaland. He attended Monali Training Center in 1941 to 1943. Kaunda was a teacher at the upper primary school and boarding master at Lubwa, and then he became a headmaster at Lubwa from 1943 to 1945. He was for a time working at the Salisbury and Bindura mine. In early 1948, he became a teacher in Mufulira for the United Missions to the Copperbelt UMCB. He was then assistant at the African Welfare Center and boarding master of a mine school in Mufulira. In this period, he was leading a Pathfinder Scout group and was a choir master at a Church of Central Africa congregation. He was also a vice secretary for the Nchanga branch of Congress. In 1949, Kaunda returned to Lubwa to become a part-time teacher. He resigned in 1951. In that year, he became organizing secretary of Northern Provinces, Northern Rhodesian African National Congress. Then on 11th November 1953, he moved to Lusaka to take up the post of Secretary General of ANC, which was then under the presidency of Harry Mwanga Nkumbula. The combined efforts of Kaunda and Nkumbula failed to mobilize native African peoples against the European-dominated federation then in the Northern Rhodesia and Nyasaland. But in 1955, Kaunda and Nkumbula were imprisoned for 2 months for allegedly distributing subversive literature, and after that they started the struggle for independence. And you know the history. In 1961, Kaunda organized a campaign, and later on in January he became president. In January 1964, UNIP won the major elections, and on the 24th of October 1964 he became president. So at the age of 96, Kaunda is alive and well. Watch this video as the president was congratulating him.
So you say you have to make yourself, you go to a token here. Okay. Think of it. And where is that plastic? There's really more. Thank you very much. I'm good. This is the answer. It represents intelligence, wisdom, and long life. So it is a very beautiful animal in Zambian state. Powerful messages. That's 96. 96. We can look it tonight. Because little degrees are allowed. Thank you. It's 96. For avoidance of only 96. Thank you so much. Thank you. The cake is here. The cake is here. I'm getting COVID-19 on your happiness. Thank you for the cake. We went to our house and found some nice pictures of yourself. On the few occasions that I have been privileged to come and visit you, so we made very beautiful pictures. I'm humble showing the young president of the Republic of Zambia. Thank you, Kenneth Kaunda, at 96. So, for you. That is more tasty. In the pictures, you can join me here. On cake, thank you. Let him move closer to the cake.
Just drag it.
That's fine. You join me in singing happy birthday, guys? You join me, yeah? Yes, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear birthday. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? 96. How old are you now? How old are you now? Happy birthday to you. I'm humbled as a president. In all your colleagues, thank you for coming. this time. May good Lord God Almighty continue to bless and guide you and all your friends. Wonderful show you have displayed. Wonderful show. May God continue to bless and guide you all the way, all the time. For Zambia, to South Africa, and everything. So, you take this now. Make sure you that you not destroy the people around you. You maintain it the way you left it, and you hand it over to the presentation. God bless you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
A message from a South African government official.
It is a great honor and privilege for me to wish you well, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, on this historic day when you celebrate your 96th birthday. Your Excellency, it is such a wonderful coincidence that your birthday is celebrated a day after South Africa commemorated its 26 years of freedom, as well as the inauguration of President Nelson Mandela, our first democratic president. This is indicative of how closely tied our country is to you, President Kaunda, and our sister country, Zambia. Today, as we face a dreadful coronavirus epidemic, we remain committed as a liberation movement to work with our government to deal with this virus. Our transition to democracy owes a lot to the contribution that you made personally and the role that the Zambian people played to ensure that South Africa was finally liberated. As we celebrate your 96th birthday, we are deeply moved, and correctly so, since we also remember our days in exile. The early days when the SACP, that is the Communist Party, the ANC, and other liberation movements were isolated. The warm welcome and hospitality that we received from the Zambian government and its people was important. It encouraged and inspired us to fight even harder against the scourge and the evils of apartheid and its regime. The support we received is yet to be recorded for posterity, as that all our children may know the role that Zambia played in freeing their country. Let me reiterate that it is particularly important for us as South Africans to celebrate your birthday with you, Comrade President, because the role you played in our liberation struggle is immeasurable. You took a principled stand and backed our demands to spell out in the Harare Declaration, and this support was crucial at the Organization of African Unity then, which adopted those guidelines as preconditions for negotiations. Your name, therefore, Mr. President, will always be synonymous with that of freedom and liberation of Africa, particularly Southern Africa. As we celebrate your birthday, we also remember other heroes and leaders who led the struggle to liberate our people, but who are no longer with us, such as Nelson Mandela, Julius Nyerere, Agostinho Neto, Samora Machel, and Patrice Lumumba, to mention a few, and these were your contemporaries. We also appreciate the role you personally continue to play today in Africa, that of being an elder statesman who continues to contribute to peaceful resolutions of conflicts in Africa and in the fight against HIV and AIDS, to mention a few endeavors. The South African Communist Party honors you, salute you, and thank you for having been a light and source of strength during our difficult times, and for having offered us your hand of friendship and generosity of spirit when we needed it most. Congratulations on your 96th birthday, and may you have many more. I thank you.
Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button, and follow me on all social media platforms. It's simply at lilymutamztv.